So I was gonna do a video on something else, but this shit just came to my mind because so my neighbors be playing hella like mariachi music and shit like that, right? It's all good. I wish they played more of it and they played it even louder. But it's funny because uh, so they'd be like, being loud and shit. Even they're not really loud, but you know what I mean. They be talking loud and shit and drinking to it. Anyway, it reminds me back when I worked at this gas station when I was in high school, and there's just one white dude there, right? He was like a country white dude, from the south, and he tried to like, you know, uh, talk about his southern, things, his little southern, bullshit, and but fucking he listened to mariachi music, right? It was hella funny, and his ex-wife was Latin, right? And he had a daughter, right? So his daughter was half Latin, so it was hella funny, like some shit like he tried to put this front on like, oh, all this southern shit, but then he's bumping some mariachi music, and then he lived in East Oakland on top of that shit. Like he lived off in the 40s by High Street, like right on the thick of it. If you know East Oakland, you know where that's at. So it was the funniest shit, man. And it just remind me of that shit. You know what I mean? How he's full. He'd be singing it too. He knew the lyrics and everything, right? It was crazy. But what I'm trying to get at is this is another reason why I love the Bay. You know what I mean? The Bay Area. And I've talked with a lot of people about it, and I mean, people could say this and that, da da da, it's expensive, it's crazy, it's overpriced, it's overpopulated, whoop de whoop. And there's some points to that. I agree, but you can't beat the diversity that the Bay has. I mean, like, where else would you fucking find that kind of shit? You know what I mean? Some like southern white dude who's like got those kind of like that southern mentality, type bullshit. But then he's over here bumping mariachi music, okay? You know what I mean? And he loved that shit. He bumped that shit. I mean, he fucking blast that shit. But anyway, where else could you find that shit but the Bay? And then, matter of fact, another a childhood friend of mine, uh, he spoke fluent Spanish and all kinds of shit. And he was a fucking white dude, right? It was crazy. And it's like, dude, you find all kinds of crazy shit out. And I remember, and then he used to bump like Latin music and shit. It was a trip. You're like, what the fuck? So I mean, only in the Bay, man, you see this kind of diversity. You know what I mean? You can't escape this shit. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? It's, I'm telling you, man, like, seriously, Spanish is like the first language, at least where I live, in the Bay. Anywhere in the Bay. Anywhere I mean, I don't know, anywhere you go, it's Spanish speaking. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, I'm telling you, man, like, I know some people say, like, Chinese is the second most important language, but I disagree, man. Where I don't know where you guys stay at, but for here, Spanish. Spanish is like number one, man. And it's anywhere you go. You know what I mean? Look at it. It's all Spanish. It's all Spanish. Spanish, I think, is the most important language to pretty much know. You know what I mean? I mean, in my opinion, and I'm trying to learn it right now as we speak. But like, dude, it's you know what I mean? I can do like conversations. I could do some shit. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, my native language is that. You know what I mean? Well, I'm not. You know what I mean? Born in Colombia. You know what I mean? So that's like in my blood and shit. But anyway, point being is that where else can you get this shit from? You know what I mean? The Bay. You know what I mean? And like I said, people say, it's expensive, da da da, whoop de whoop, it's populated, overpopulated. True, true. But dude, you can't beat the diversity that we have. And you cannot beat the weather we have. Period. No one can fucking argue with it. And I'm talking about, at least for the United States. Nowhere in the United States can you beat this weather. Like, for real. Now, people might say, oh, what about Florida? Yeah, but you got that heat. You got that crazy shit. We don't have all that crazy shit, that crazy up and down weather shit. It's pretty mild for the most part. You know what I mean? In the immediate Bay Area. I'm not talking about the valley. I'm talking about the immediate Bay Area. The main, East Bay, no, East Bay, uh, West Bay, San Francisco, Oakland, Hayward, San Leandro areas. You know what I mean? Berkeley and all that. You know what I mean? Uh, for these immediate areas, like these big metropolitan cities, we got some of the best weather ever in the United States, at least. Now, I know other countries got way better weather. We all know that, especially South America, Central America, Mexico, all that stuff, of course. But I'm talking about for the United States, you can't beat this weather. And that's one of the reasons why it's so expensive. You can't beat this weather. We have no, uh, uh, like, Mother Nature problems. Like, what do we have? People say, oh, you have earthquakes. We have earthquakes, what, once in every 80 years of something serious? Come on. What else do we have? Like, it rains sometimes. Like, the first rain we actually had was like last year, which was a lot of rain, which never happens. It pretty much doesn't really rain in the wintertime. A little bit, but nothing. If you go to other places in the country, them motherfuckers got rain, tornadoes, and all kinds of crazy shit. Snowstorm. We don't even have none of that. Our shit is mild. You know what I mean? And I mean, that's why and it's gorgeous as fuck. There's so many fucking places to see and see. I mean, other places are gorgeous too. But I mean, you can't beat our gorgeous. You know, most of the time it's pure green. The trees are all green. It's beautiful. You know what I mean? You can't beat the weather and the diversity. Period. That's the reason why it's so expensive. And I love the diversity with it. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's all I was saying. I just want to. That was on my mind. I have other videos I'm gonna do. I just didn't want to go look through my notes and everything right now. You know what I mean? Peace.